fantastic voyage. Well, here, I'm getting myself ready. Here we go. Oh, wrong glasses, wrong trousers. Let me do this. Oh, my computer's all wonky. There we go. Better. Hey, good morning. I was a wee. Where did I put my? I've tidied up and I can't find anything. Where did I put my mouse? Oh, there it is. Sorry, you see, we had some people over yesterday, quasi unexpectedly, and so I did a little bit of extra kind of editing of the surfaces. Good morning. Hey, Erin, I just saw you. I have my cup of tea here. And yeah, I was a smidge late turning on because I was sharing a TikTok with my sister, the guy from Spamalot, who's dancing around to Fantastic Voyage, which I love that song anyway, but he was a groove. So here we are. I also just ate some almond butter, but you don't need to know all these things. But hey, nice to see you all this morning. Oh goodness, we got, who do we have here? I'm backing up. Kaylin, Sandra D, Leslie, Sherry, my Sherry Amore, Melissa, Elaine, Laura Gibbon Voorhees, Leslie M. Alrighty, notice is my hydration word, says Leslie. All right, I will notice your hydration word and I will endeavor to use it often. Yay. Laura GV is saying, got some good decluttering done yesterday. Took things to the gem shop and a lady picked up some stuff. Good morning, Judy. The lady picked up a huge bag, a bin of piratey toys and got rid of a gigantic dog bed. Awesome. Notice notice, was that the word, right? And probably you're going to be hydrated. That decluttering includes little small things like little tiny pirates and big things like big dog beds. Hydrated. That decluttering includes little small things like little tiny pirates and big things like big dog beds. Awesome, friend. Yay. Oh, Katie Jennings got a snow day. Lucky. You know what? We don't have enough. We've got a little crappy amount of snow. Nothing really kind of. Christmas time is here and looking good, but you know what? I'm gonna embrace that snow day vibe. I do that all the time, like that kind of unexpected thing. Ooh, gifted a portable dog crate. Awesome. Snow day there too. Day with the hubs. Awesome. Good stuff, people. Yay for the good stuff and interesting for the not so good stuff. I wish, you know what, had I not had people over yesterday, I probably would have left my tote of historical photos, as it were. Photos from this place called the 1990s. Some of you may remember it. Others may have learned about it in history class. And I was so psyched to throw away so many photos after yesterday's TikTok Live. The reason I was able to do that was because I finally gave myself the space and the time to do it, but I also felt comfortable even just opening the tote and opening up one envelope of photos. Not that I had a fear, really. I probably did of having to make a decision. Here was the great thing, is the photos that I had been lugging around in that tote, I had done it through the decades, some organizing of them. So they were chunked down already. And then I realized, so I share this with you, if in case you have some photos that are still like in the envelopes that you got from CVS or Ritz Camera. Oh my God, talk about a blast from the past. Is that I discovered that I was really saving them for the negatives. You know, the way that we used to back in the day, get an enlargement or a copy, a duplicate of a photo. Now, my God, we just copy and paste it on our phones. It's crazy how the technology has changed us. Now, this is interesting. I love it. Jamie Doll says, I just last week threw away all of our 3.5-inch floppy disks. So yeah, notice how technology and the obsolescence of certain technologies can create clutter. Now, I will admit, Jamie Dahl, so I'm working through my physical kind of paper photos, and a lot of the things that I had saved were either the negatives. I cannot tell you, again, the last time I needed to make a copy or wanted to make a copy of something and actually use the negative to do it. If anything, I would take the picture itself and scan it and share it. Yeah, okay, good. Katie Jennings, you and I, maybe it's the time of year. Yeah, and I did throw away like all the negatives, yeah? And I saved a few photos. It was kind of interesting to go back because here's the deal. I had a lot of the multiples. Remember when you used to get your photos at the photo place? And you could check off a box. Actually, this was really funny. Oh, I moved it. No, I didn't. Here. Remember when you used to do this and you used to check off and put your name? And then doubles or singles, print size, or back in the day, this is 20 years old, you guys, CD order. I found this as my husband was decluttering. There's actually a thing. Yeah, there's a thing right here of Kodak. I don't even know. I'm going to bring it to my place in Philly that did a good job on my my slides, and I highly recommend them. But yeah, it was great to literally, I mean, I made the weight, the physical weight and the emotional weight that I feel lifted from me. As I put these photos in there, first of all, I was surprised. Today is trash day. And I was surprised how physically heavy those things are as they accumulate. As I got the pictures, I opened up the envelopes, I looked, and I was like, nope, 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 nope. They went into a trash bag. The trash bag was heavy, and as I was leaving the house to put it into the trash can, I wanted validation for what I had done. I've been like, oh my God. So I grabbed the bag, and I'm carrying it out. I said to my husband, here, hold this. Notice how heavy this is. I have been physically carrying around these photos for decades. And it's kind of cool and notice this. This is the thing about stored clutter. Stored sentimental clutter too, is all of those photos were in the closet right here, okay? Now, you wouldn't know by looking at that closet door that anything had changed behind it. That's kind of the beauty of stored clutter, is you can hide it from certain people, but you can't hide clutter from yourself because you have like X-ray specs, okay? You have X-ray vision, and you know that even if your bureau looks good, that it could be crammed in a hot mess inside. You know that there's stuff piled up there. And so even if it's hidden from other people, you know that it's different. And doing something about it felt really good. There we go. I love it. Ivy says, hasn't been here in a while. Perfect timing. I'm about to move and have been moving out, storing my clutter. Yeah, I love it. And what was I going to say? I realized I didn't introduce myself. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered here on TikTok, YouTube, the internet. Okay. And Laura is now going to, I have a stack of sorta dead laptops. I need to access the photos and download onto an outside drive. And those laptops have been so patient. I have a laptop in the closet right here that I do that too. So notice again, the technology sometimes requires things. Now, some of the photos that I have yet to go through that are still existing or taking up physical space in my life are ones that are on slides that I'm pretty sure I have already digitized. But also when we used to burn a CD of photos. One of the things on my list is to ask my husband, hey, do we have like a disk drive, whatever you want to call it, so that we can still look at those and then, yes, pull them off of that obsolete technology, because I can't tell you the last time I looked at those photos from those technologies, and put them somewhere where I can find them. To me, it's probably going to be in my photos on my computer that I can also see on my phone. So notice how the way that the world marches forward also, through no fault of our own, tends to create things. that end up being clutter. Now, Cindy Bob is saying, why did we keep all the duplicates and the negative photos that came back bad? I'll share with you. I will share with you the reason I did, because I was walking through this process, kind of like me being there at the beginning of a road trip, being a little bit ahead of you guys, so I can describe to you how it felt, and what you could learn from it, like learn from what I did to help you. And what I discovered for me, Cindy Bob, was I saved those for a couple reasons. One is habit. I was probably told as I grew up, keep these things. They are important if you ever want to make a copy. So by habit, growing up in the physical world, I was encouraged that this is just what you do. So you just imitate the people behind you, the generations that showed you these things. The other thing too is you may have a thought that keeps you holding on to something. I may want to make a copy of that someday, and I've been told the best way to do that is a negative. Even the duplicates of the bad photos, I think we were discouraged that we were a lot more precious with photos back in the day. So, well, I may think this is a crappy photo now, but the fear of wanting it in the future kept me hanging on to it, and some of them for 30 plus years, if not, 30 plus years, thereabouts. So there can be a combination of thoughts and feelings that cause you to do what you do. I think it's all kind of notice, Leslie, that was for you, notice your thoughts that create the feelings. And yes, Michelle says, yes, the all-important dollar symbol that factors into our decision making. We paid so much for them, too. Very precious. Now, I will share with you that one of the things that kept me keeping things was that back in the day, and many of us remember this, photographs. You did not know what your photographs looked like until you got them back from the photo place. And if you were a person who was doing more kind of artistic photographs, sometimes the photos you got back from the photo, CVS did not match the vision that you had in your mind. And sometimes I would get discouraged by thinking, oh, it's me, I'm a crappy photographer. But then I realized it's almost like just a contact sheet. Like they are just printing those out randomly. So part of me was thinking, maybe someday I will go back and go through my photos and then actually get something properly printed that reflects my vision that I had in my head. We do this a lot more organically nowadays with photos in our cameras, because photos that we take, with our phones, we see the results immediately. So I had a thought back in the day, maybe someday I'll go through my photos and want to create a better print of some of these things. Well, I got to be honest with you guys. The thing that was wonderful to me, and it may not be the same for you, is as I looked through those, I said, there are very few of these photos that I want to keep at all, or that I want to keep and get a better copy of. So that was very freeing to me. And I felt good about releasing them. Now, do I have some more photos to go through? Of course, but man, did I go through literally easily 30 plus years worth of photos in the last week and a half. And the gentlemen who pick up the trash every Tuesday morning know it, because the trash can has been heavier. And man, do I feel a certain sense of lightness and clarity and simplicity just thinking back on the fact that I just went through that journey of decluttering my photos. And I share that with you. And if anybody here has any questions, anything that you have that you're curious about decluttering photos or that kind of sentimental object, please put it in the comments. Because one of the reasons I do these TikTok lives, not just the recordings, is so we can have this interaction, So if there's something that you feel is stopping you from decluttering your sentimental objects. Now, I don't always start with sentimental, but since I'm in the sentimental space, I will just offer that to you. I can help you with that because I'm a decluttering life coach, okay? Yeah, how do we save them? All right, Julia, good question. So how do we save them? So I have saved, it was comical. I had a tote, like about, the kind that are about this wide. And I have gotten into getting the shallower ones because the double deep ones, I almost said the double wides, like a trailer, got a little bit too heavy. How do we save them? How I'm going to save mine. And and Rochelle, don't overwhelm yourself. Don't overwhelm yourself. I see the Edvard Munch, right? Start a little bit at a time. Okay? So what I would say is I'm probably going to, I haven't quite decided. I'm playing around with the idea of saving the photos because I save a lot of paper memorabilia too, and I had been a lot more organized with that. So I have a box for every year for like the last 25 or so years. I am thinking of putting the photos of that year in with the box so it provides a more well-rounded picture of what was going on in my life in that year. The other thing I did, which was helpful that I didn't mention, was that I noticed, Leslie, that certain photos reinforced certain stories. That was the year that I went on that road trip with my sister. That was the year that I moved back home with my mother and father when my first marriage wasn't going well. That's the year that I moved here because I got a promotion at work. So when I was going through these photos, I had a pad of paper next to me, and I would just write down every year had a clean piece of paper itself. And I just wrote down the things. Now, I may have that written down elsewhere, but it gave me a certain amount of safety, nervous system safety, to say, I'm going to make sure that I don't forget this story. Okay? Yeah. Now, Jamie Dahl says, mine stay in a steel file cabinet for some protection from fire. Awesome. I'm probably going to save some of mine digitally. I haven't quite gotten there yet, but the good news is, even if I don't have a clear idea of how I'm going to store them, I know that the way I'm storing them now, there's far fewer of them to store. So I may store them in a smaller container. And I'm not going to stress out about knowing the whole process before I begin the declutter process. Because as I declutter it, imagine this, if you wait until you decide how you're going to store it, and I'm not saying, looking down but you may not have any you want to store. So you just wasted some time, or you used some time creating a solution to something that never came up. All right. Now, Paulina says, I just can't motivate myself. I used to be so clean. I don't know what happened. You probably got tired. Yep. Yeah. And notice, Paulina, excuse me. This is a wonderful thing. Notice what happens when you even share with yourself and with us. When you articulate what's jamming you up, is you're also saying that to yourself, and yourself is coming back with some answers. And I love this because I saw your thing, but I was too busy talking. I couldn't get to it. In the time that I was chatting, your own brain was coming up with an idea of how to start. Now, you don't necessarily need to go back so far and diagnose how I got to here on the map. But notice that you just saying, hey, I'm bugged by something, and you wrote it down. I am all about writing stuff down, as my one-on-one clients know, on paper or even writing it in the comments. Gave your brain, your wonderfully creative, solution-y creating brain, the opportunity to kind of solve, giving you an idea of how to solve the problem. So yay for Paulina and her brain. Remember that cartoon? And I love that your brain says, I need to start with one room at a time. Yes. And Paulina and everybody listening, again, I'm a decluttering life coach, and I have a certain process that I share pretty much in every one of these TikTok lives and YouTube lives. Okay, there we go. And now you know. You said earlier you didn't know how to get there. Now you know how you got there. I know how I got here. Duh. I was in Florida taking care of my parents. Of course, my life may be put on the back burner because I am busy with other people. Now it's time for me, and wow, how did I get here? Oh, that's right. Don't judge yourself. It is interesting to look back and learn how you got cluttered, and that can help you move forward. Now, I also love, as I said, that there is a process that I will quickly give kind of the 4 hallmarks of it, and we can fill in the details. But I love, Paulina, that your brain already has a solution when you were just moments ago, part of your brain, your fear-based brain was like, I don't know why, I'm so fearful, I don't know. And then your I do know brain. I do know why I got here. I was taking care of my parents. I do know something I can do to get started. I can start with 1 room. And starting with 1 room is kind of under the umbrella of what I would call chunking it down, okay? Not getting overwhelmed by, oh my God, all the things, all the photos, like anything that gives you that Home Alone / it's so funny, it's probably the Home Alone, but I call it the Edvard Munch, like, all of it. When you get that feeling, I want you to think, chunk it down, quiet down and chunking down. And so the 4 pillars, I guess, or the order of operations I will recommend to everybody here all the time is make sure you're feeling okay physically. And if you're not, do something to make yourself feel physically better right now. Notice where you are feeling not good physically by putting your hands in the air, wave them around like you just don't care, all right? And then do a body scan, like you're at the TSA pre or something. And notice if anything lights up red that needs attention. Even if it doesn't, I highly recommend always having a big old glass of water next to you throughout the day, because your human body will work better when it's lubricated, just like your car needs oil and grease and all that, okay? So physical is first, but hot on the heels of that is one that we often overlook, which is your nervous system. Okay, your nervous system, your nerves, your feelings, the feeling part of your body, not just the physical, oh, I have to pee, or I'm hungry, or I have a headache. Calming down your nervous system so you get into a nice kind of easy neutral state. Again, I'm American and I drive cars all the time. So I will say to you, it's like, sometimes your thoughts are going to be racing and you're spinning your wheels, but you're not getting anywhere. Sometimes you feel like your battery is dead. So doing something, and usually I say it's a combination of kind of moving around your body and calming down your body, disrupting whatever that energy is, and kind of doing the opposite. To calm, for the most part, calm down so you get to a nice neutral point. Because much like your car, when you're in neutral and you're not revving, but your engine is on, you can steer in any direction you want, okay? Now, this is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered, because having a destination of what you want to declutter is going to be helpful so you know where to steer your car, what direction to go in. So you create your destination, and then how you get there is you write it down. You write down whatever comes to mind. Yeah, you write down whatever comes to mind. So Paulina, is saying, I should just start with 1 room. Okay, so if there's 1 room, what room would you start in? Okay? And this is where it gets into. People want to be like, this is the best way to do it. No, I want a good way. I want a better way. But best can be very limiting, because you're saying, I can't do it until I find the best way. But therefore, then you don't do anything, the all or nothingness. Okay? So physical, nervous system, writing down whatever comes up, write it down. And then whatever you've written down, if it still seems too big, then you chunk it down. Notice how Paulina maybe has an entirely cluttered house, but a chunk of your house is a room. Within that room, there's probably a chunk that's on a horizontal surface, okay? And that's where we get into chunking down in 1 room, horizontal surface. Any room probably has these 3 kind of ingredients, places where clutter may have accumulated. Surfaces, stored, and surface clutter, stored clutter, and sometimes you have sentimental clutter that could be either stored or on surfaces. Surface, stored, sentimental. The easiest way to start is to pick a room and to pick a surface. Cleaning off your surfaces first in one room will allow you to warm up your body in the thinking and feeling part of the decision making of decluttering. Does this belong here? No. Where does it go? Put it where it goes. Does this belong here? No. Where does it go? I don't know. Figure out a place to put it. Does this belong here? Do I want it or not? I don't know. Make a decision. It warms up your energy in the productive way of thinking, as opposed to just spinning your wheels and getting nowhere. You're making progress with every item that you declutter, because you are bouncing it up against the what kind of house, what do I want this surface to look like? That's your destination. And then you create that thing that you want. I am in the process of creating what I want. And then when you get the hang of that, it's a new way of thinking of it. And then it's lather, rinse, and repeating. Okay? So that I gave you the really quick overview. So you get the full context. But you may not even know where you are in that journey, as that road trip towards. And if you look behind me, I've got this kind of road trippy dealy going on behind me. Because to me, I used to go on road trips. I still kind of do, but I like to fly more now. But I've also written books about road trips and the parallels between being in your car and driving on a road trip and how you conduct your life are uncanny. And so I show up knowing a process that I want to share with you to help you. And now you tell me where you're stuck. Where are you revving your engine and spinning your wheels? But instead of making progress, you are spinning out. Your battery is draining. Where are you stuck in the journey towards your destination decluttered? And much like somebody in a little Tonka truck, what do you call it? Like the AAA person, I can come and help you. And together we can get you unstuck and moving towards your destination. But I won't know where to drive my little Tonka truck. What do I think of that? Like a tow truck? I can't drive my little Tonka tow truck out to find you unless you tell me where you are on the road, silly. So this is why I do these lives, because everybody's at a different part of the journey. And so I show up to say, hey, I'm here. If anybody needs help with their decluttering, put it in the comments and we can use this live time together to help you. But when I walk through the process with somebody, whoever puts their stuff in the comments, other people are watching and can learn from the process. Okay? So notice those four pillars. The physical, the nervous system, the writing it down and the chunking it down. Scan down. Notice these four things. Leslie, that was for you. Scan down, calm down, write down, chunk down, and then get into gear. All right? Now, Ms. Eagle DA says, I appreciate your opinion. You are pushing me to the point. I don't want to push anybody. I am not pushing anybody, but what I'm talking to, if anything, I hope that my words are reaching the part of you that says, yeah, I want that in my life. I want my home to be less cluttered than it is. And I want to learn how to get there because I'm not doing it on my own. Okay? Now, this took me, I'm like almost sick. I'm going to be 60 next year. It has taken me a long time to get to where I am, even though I have always been on the surface, even if it was cluttery, it looked cool. I can design an environment like nobody's business. But man, oh Manischewitz, as I like to say, did I have clutter that was stored? Because that's how I grew up, with savers and thrifters and antiquers, and that might be worth something and you spent a lot of money for it and it might increase in value. It's one of the reasons I know that I kept some of my photos from back in the day, because I thought, well, maybe I think they're crappy now. Maybe they will look better in the future. And some of them do and some of them don't. So I'm here to help. And here's why I show up too, is I don't want it to take you. I don't want you to take as long to get to your destination decluttered as it took for me to get to my destination decluttered. Now, I love the journey I was on. I love a road trip. I love learning about myself. And I just want to help you learn from my mistakes and my where I ran out of gas and if I had it to do over again, what I would do different. Yeah, we are taking me the proper way. And this is how I like to frame it, okay? So if we are talking about the destination decluttered, okay, even if we just call it decluttered, that idea of decluttered, and we can fill in the details later. If we are on a road trip together, I want you to think of this framework for yourself, okay? You are always the driver in the seat that can do the things. Nobody else is in the driver's seat except for you. Okay? That being said, you are not alone in the car. Now, imagine yourself sitting in, it doesn't have to be your car right now, but any kind of car. And you're in the driver's seat. You're in control. Control. Like Janet Jackson, okay? You are behind the wheel. You have the power, just like your car in your driveway or wherever, to steer in any direction you want. You can back up, you can go forward, you can go wherever, and you can adjust it throughout the journey. You are in control of how long you drive on any given day or, extended period of time. You are in control of when you stop and get out and stretch. You are in control of when you stop and fill up for gas. You are in control of when you park at a cute little roadside motel at the end of the day and say, I'm done and I'm gonna recover. You are the one whose foot is on the gas or on the brake and deciding the speed you want to go, and you can change it at any time. Driving and going through life are so parallelly, okay? However, so notice, this is you behind the wheel. You're not alone in your car, though. This is how I look at it. This helps me, so I'm sharing this metaphor so it helps you. You are not alone. You have two, what I call invisible passengers with you in the car, and they are the ones who are whispering in your ear, and you listening to their whispers affects what you do physically, okay? Let's deal with the one that we're probably used to hearing from the most, which is what I call the backseat driver. Okay, we have that phrase in American English already. It's somebody who's not in control. They're not behind the wheel, but man, are they saying things to encourage you to do what they want. And typically, this is what I call fear. Fear is a backseat driver. Fear, the voice of no, don't do it, it's going to be hard. Anytime you're not doing what the other part of you is saying, let's go do this, it could be fear. Now, not all fears are bad, but if you think all fears should be obeyed, then you may not be where you want to be as far as on your journey towards what you want. The good news is, many of us, I didn't know I had this voice in me because my fear was so loud and strong and just not shutting up that only on occasion did I hear whispers from this other voice in the car. And the other voice in the car is what I call your co-pilot. Think about it. You're here in the driver's seat. You got some backseat driver who's like, don't do it, no. Then you've got yes next to you. This is like your BFF. I'm your BFF on the road trip, okay? I sit next to you and I'm like, where do you want to go? I don't say I have all the answers, but man, I've been on so many road trips that I can help you plan your life like a road trip. Where do you want to go? Destination. Cool. Let's make a map on how to get there. Let's make sure that when we do this, that we are not running out of gas every day and then spending days at a hotel while the car gets worked on and recovering. Let's drive and do some things to feel good, take some breaks along the way, have some fun, and decide to stop before we're empty and get some rest, and then show up another time to continue the journey. And this is the voice of love and problem solving and yes and fun. This to me is more your soul of your true self, but all of us are made with a true kind of self of We've only got one life. Let's live it the best we can. But man, is fear embedded in us, like on a probably microscopic level, because fear keeps us away from danger, because danger could equal death, and we don't want to die. And fear keeps our species alive by stopping us from doing things. But not everything that you think you're afraid of is worthy of being afraid of. This is why this whole kind of decluttering life coach kind of overview, let's play around with this in the realm of clutter, of things in your house that are causing you fear. Now think about it. I'm afraid of a coffee mug. Well, I'm afraid of letting go of that coffee mug. I'm afraid of something because I'm hanging on to it. So I just say, notice this kind of the triumvirate, the three. You've got yourself, you've got your love-based you, and you've got your fear-based you. If you're like me, and maybe you're not, you may have been listening to your fear-based you, the backseat driver, and not even realizing that you have the other side of you. I show up in your life imitating what I would want my co-pilot. Let's have some fun. Let's get this done. Come on, we're here. We're only here once. And today's December 2nd, 9:36 a.m. Eastern. We will never pass this way again. You have the opportunity to ask me, to help you with your journey. So that's why I show up, and I'll be here for the next 24 minutes. Now, I love this. Taco has had some success. One large bed surface, notice, horizontal surface, led to another bed surface in another room. 0 + 1 = 2. Sure, math. Now, I know I just shared a lot. Now, the good news is that you may still be absorbing all this and being like, whoa, I've never even heard things talked about this way. Or this could be something that you've heard from me before because you've tuned into one of my TikTok lives. So it may be a little bit more familiar. I like to use the car metaphor because as we say in my family, there's like a hook to hang it on. Like I already know what it's like to drive my car. So if I am saying, what would I do in this situation if I was on a road trip? It's a familiar language to me. Okay. The good news is if this is new to you and you're like, wait, what? This is a lot. I didn't take notes. I didn't think I was going to be learning. I thought I was just going to be scrolling on this gloomy morning on the East Coast. This TikTok live, as well as all of my other TikTok lives for freaking years, people, are uploaded. This will be uploaded later today to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. Now it's there for reference. It's there for you to be like, wait, she said something good, but I missed it during the live, but I can watch it during the recording, okay? And I say that because when you go to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel, you will see that right now you have playlists upon playlists. Now they're monthly. This one will be in the December playlist, December 2nd one. And there are over 2+ years worth of videos that you can pop on in the background for free and probably hear a lot of the same stuff or just learn from this one, Alrighty. There we go. That one persona is saying, hey friends, stopping by for a little bit between appointments. All right. Awesome. We have a good crew here. I keep out the trolls like nobody's business. That's why all the good stuff that I share, not just on this free one and then, I'm blocking people or whatever, but also there's a mailing list. There's a Destination Decluttered kind of email group that gets offered all sorts of other stuff that nobody from the outside gets. And it's a free thing to join. But trolls will rarely take that extra step, okay? So if you're interested in things like knowing when I show up on TikTok Live or YouTube Live, like we've got a YouTube Live today, tomorrow, the next day, etc., there's a schedule. But the schedule is only shared with people who share your email address with me. It's pretty simple. Jesse says, Beth, I used Black Friday to buy containers and such to declutter. Now, Jesse, cool for you for buying a product that you think is going to help you. Here's something I would like you to think of too, though, because sometimes if you have not decluttered first, you may not have the best containers for your situation. So Jesse, what I would love for you to do, okay, is make sure that you have saved the receipt for those containers that you bought, okay? Now, containers are helpful during the decluttering process, and then after decluttering, it can be helpful to contain a category of items so you know where they are, and typically if they are contained, they are safer than if they were just kind of hanging out. So, not that there's anything wrong with containers, but notice this metaphor. If you say, I'm going to buy containers, but you have yet to declutter, sometimes you don't know what size to get, okay? So just make sure. Yeah, because here's the deal, Jesse. You may realize, because this is happening to me, honestly, I have done exactly what you did. I was thinking, I just need to contain this stuff. And so I would often go out to, when I used to shop at Target, go to Target and get like a clear plastic tote with a white top, and I'd put my stuff in it, and I would, let go of a few things. Right now, as I'm doing a more confident declutter, I now have multiple empty containers in my basement. Now, this is something I've done over years. These containers are temporarily helpful sometimes because I will use them to sort, but sorting and decluttering are friends, but they are different actions. Sorting goes before the decluttering and the deciding. Okay? So I am saying you may end up, Jesse, you may end up using all of the containers that you bought. But if you don't, please return them, because one of the things I am finding out, okay, one of the things I am discovering, and I will share with you using the example of this IKEA shelf behind me, is that the more places you have to put things, containers, some can make it more difficult to decide if you want something or not. Okay? Now that one persona is saying make a list of containers with measurements that you need as you declutter, but feeling good about what you're left with and then making a decision. Okay? Yeah. So measurements are good, but also do not, this is a thing that I am noticing living in our house right now, is having a place to put things can easily allow you to save more than you want. Yeah, and Leslie is saying, notice this, Leslie. So true, Beth. Too much storage, notice the concept of too much, promotes avoidance. Yes, avoiding whether I really need or want all this stuff here. All the things that hold this. If this was a smaller shelf, I would be required to make a decision of what do I really want or not. Even right now, honestly, a lot of this stuff is what I've fluffed it up to make it look good. But if I didn't have that bookcase there, I wouldn't own as much stuff. If I had not, when we did our kitchen over like 15 years ago, think at the time that I wanted that little space to have clear glass windows, I would not nearly have as much Fiesta ware. But because it's on display, I feel compelled to make it look good. And so I have more stuff than I typically use. All right? Now, so notice this. Yeah, all containers are not very functional. Handles may be flimsy, but they look good. Yes, look for something that functions well. Okay? Yeah, and notice, yeah, we all, many of us go through the container. We've been told by people who sell containers that a container will solve your problems. Containers will help you, but containers do not do the decluttering process for you, which is deciding what you want to keep in a container and what you want to throw in the container known as the donation bag or the trash. All right? All right, Heather is stuck. I am stuck. Here I am. I'm driving out my little tow truck. All right, now describe to me what's going on in your car. She says, I have half unpacked the decorations, but a room full of stuff I never organized. Totally anxious. Okay. So earlier, Heather, you may not have tuned in because I've been on for about 45 minutes. No big deal. I'm happy to remind everybody of these 4 processes. Okay. These 4 kind of areas. which is physically, how are you feeling? Okay, now physically and nervous system, I know that you're not feeling good in that way because you said you're totally anxious. When you're anxious, everything is going to feel more difficult to do. So Heather, this is where I recommend the concept of calming down your nervous system. So how do you do that? You sit down, you slow down, you look down, you breathe down. Maybe any of these downs, okay, to reassure your nervous system that there's nothing to be afraid of and anxious and overwhelmed. And even if there was, that's not going to help you get out of there. You're not in a fight or flight. Getting yourself and your nervous system out of fight or flight is the first step into making real progress. Slowing down, breathing down, quieting down, okay? Now, when I say quieting down, notice you have a room of stuff that you never organized, so visually it may be overwhelming. So I say, focus down. Don't get overwhelmed. Do not aggravate and anxiousify your nervous system by looking at everything, but you can slow down and quiet down and start with a little literal like section in front of you, okay? So I would recommend everybody always check in with your nervous system, and if you're getting overwhelmed, notice your telltale clues of when that happens. That happened to me yesterday because we had friends coming over somewhat unexpectedly, and I thought this is a great opportunity. We had already kind of started to decorate for the season, but I went and did, and we're in a good decluttered state. So I did some vacuuming and dusting, and then I brought up a tote of Christmas stuff. And then I opened it up, and it was the stuff that I did not put out last year. So I was curious about, do I want to put it up this year? And some of it I was like, meh. Some of it was like, okay, maybe I will do it. And what I realized was that I like most of my Christmas stuff, but I discovered this year, and I'll share this with you, I don't like it all out at the same time, because there is an invisible line that gets crossed that goes from feeling just right into feeling like it's too much. And typically that's when I have to decide where things go. Now, one of the things I'm going to do this year is I'm going to take pictures of what I put out and where I displayed it. And then also I have decided that I'm going to just shift every other year I'll put up some different things to keep it fresh. Because there are a few things that I am decluttering this year, but there are some things that I like. I just don't like it all out at once. So notice that there is a nervous system kind of like, okay, I'm done. I feel good with what I've done, and anything more seems like overkill, so I'm going to stop. Okay? That's because I have become so much more aware of when my enjoyment of the process turns into overwhelm and not happy. Okay? Alrighty, Heather, I love it. Sitting down to breathe, sitting down, slowing down, quieting down. And then when you're feeling better, what you're doing is you are actively shifting gears in your brain to get out of your animal fear-based fight or flight, because it's just stuff. Okay, remember, it's just stuff. Now, this stuff makes you feel feelings, because obviously this stuff and the quantity and all the stories is causing you to feel anxious. So you can't tell me that stuff doesn't make you feel things, because it's making you feel anxious. But we can approach the situation and do something different. That's why I show up, to give you the something different to do so that you can shift gears out of overwhelm, and then even just into neutral gives you the point to say, wait a minute, let me pause here and let me approach this differently. And this is where I say, look at it like a road trip. Before you even start pulling out of the driveway, at least define your destination. And this is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered. Okay? Destination decluttered. Even if you just say, I want it to be decluttered, you are determining that some stuff in that room is clutter and is not clutter. Okay? Yeah, so Heather is saying, notice the story you're telling yourself about the Christmas. I feel obligated. Now, ooh, that's an interesting word. It's not excited. It's not eager. It's an obligation to put it all out, or the fear that somebody may think you're denying the importance of the history. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah. So notice this. You have a story in your head that is causing you anxiety because it is creating a tension between what you want, part of you wants. If your co-pilot asked you what you want and you didn't have the fear, you'd say, I want to only put out what I enjoy and stop when I feel good. But the fear is saying, oh, you can't do that. No, 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 no. You have to put it all out or somebody's going to judge you that you're not putting it all out. So notice the tension, the anxiety comes up when there is a conflict of interest between two parts of you, the fear-based part of you and the love-based part of you who just wants to make you feel good and not anxious and happy and loving and not fearful. It wants you to love, or at least heavily like, or even just like or not mind. All of those things are good. Doing whatever you're doing. Not be fear-based and obligation and heavy and resentful. Yeah. And I know this, Heather, because, I coach all the time because I have one-on-one clients and I do these TikTok lives and stuff. But I am walking you through literally the process that goes through my head. Because the fear of being judged by other people, that could be real or imagined. You may be afraid that you're being judged by people that are ghosts, that don't even exist. You may be fearful that you're being judged by people who will never come in your house at the holidays. If not, why do you keep that bowl that somebody from work gave you that you don't really like? The fear of being misrepresented. And remind yourself, please, at the end of the day, this is just stuff. We as humans have the power. We have such a powerful mind and imagination and a heart that feels things, nervous system, thinking, all that. This can create whatever you want it to. So you have created a story that's making it tension-filled. You can equally start to write the story of, no, I don't want that anymore. Yeah, gorgeous goddess. I have so much stuff, it's overwhelming. Notice the too much and the overwhelm is classic nervous system is being dysregulated by a quantity of too much. Okay? Yes, and the fear that you're never going to get done because I've decluttered, but there's more. Yeah, because oftentimes we don't notice things getting bad until they get really bad. And then you look and it's like, oh my God, it's everywhere. Okay? Now I love this because thank you, that one persona. Notice what I'm saying. I'm trying to get you hydrated, Leslie, before in the next 7 minutes. Just wanted to say thanks for freely sharing your wisdom. You're welcome. I don't want my wisdom to be behind a paywall. The wisdom I share with you, everybody here in more general terms, is exactly what I help my one-on-one clients with. But we can pinpoint with so much more surgical accuracy their situation when we're not coaching in public, because there's some things people don't want to talk about in front of people. There we go. Leslie, I love it. 16 ounces down. You're going to be running to the bathroom. Yeah. So notice this about everybody. Okay. If somebody was looking, if you're looking and you're learning from me at some of these comments, okay, I have so much equals overwhelming. There's more, ugh, says gorgeous goddess. Albright photography. I have so much. Notice, so much is the spot that's above your invisible line of just right. And this is where I like to bring in Goldilocks. Not enough, too much, just right. Okay. I have so much in the attic. I end up bringing down almost nothing what I want. And it's all cattywampus, which means it's all kind of all over the place. It's not organized, so you don't know what you have. Okay. Now, Heather says this was the most valuable exchange I've had with someone in weeks. I'm here pretty much every day, so if you want to tune in, Heather, just make sure you go to my website and share your email address with me so I can send you the link to the page where the schedule is on, so you'll know. Because I show up different days of the week, different times of the day, Sometimes I don't show up at all, and that's when you've got the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel to take care of, okay? Because this is really important stuff. Gorgeous, Goddess says it's generations of stuff. So notice that you aren't just dealing with you and what you're feeling right now. You have history that is on your side of holding on to things and what it means and obligation and all that. Yeah. And Erin, who has worked together with me one-on-one, she says she's the best one-on-one coach too. Aw, shucks. I love what I do because I know what it's like to feel overwhelmed and freaked out and helpless. But there's help. I am the helper that Mr. Rogers was telling you to look for when you are overwhelmed with clutter. And I do it my own way because it's fun. And I want to have fun. I don't want it to be so freaking serious that we get bored and roll our eyes. Okay? We're going to have fun and we're going to get it done, but we're going to learn something. It's kind of like, hey, or Fat Albert. Okay? See you, that one persona. Thanks for stopping by. And we have a cool group of people who show up on the rig. So you can get to know nice people here, in here. And also, just so you know, everybody on the who are part of the email group, I have scheduled a kind of a Zoom kind of party for the holidays, just so we can all say wish each other well and realize that we're connected. Yeah. Now notice Reese, again, everybody kind of pulling back and pointing out from people where the fear and the overwhelm. The fear is triggered by so much. Tenley is saying the same thing. Reese is saying, I'm afraid. That is fear. What will happen when my mom passes? She has so much stuff. Do you notice? Leslie, you would be so hydrated if all you did was focus on when people say, I have so much or too much. Okay? So I share this with you because we live in a society that tells us that having more than enough feels good. Like if enough feels good, more must feel better. And we are discovering that it's not true. Look at billionaires on this planet. They are some of the most unhappy people that we know because they're making the entire planet unhappy by trying to make themselves happy, and it's not working. Okay? So I say to you, it's okay that you realize in yourself, like after a certain point, having all this other stuff does not feel good. Okay? So let's do something about it. And I am here in your life to help you learn what to do about it. Reese, you don't need to be afraid of what will happen when my mom passes because we can talk about it. We can make a plan. Either here on a TikTok live or if you want to become a one-on-one client, I am here to share all this stuff freely because the world will be a better place for me and you. Now I'm thinking of we are the world. We are the children. Sorry, I'm Gen X and I burst out into song and I'm not sorry about it at all because it's how I'm wired and I think it's kind of fun. But what I want to say to you is that the world will be a better place when we get out of overwhelm and stuck and into calming down and, as I like to call, aligned action. Saying, what kind of world do I want to live in? What kind of house do I want to live in? Decluttered. And then knowing you can do something and then the doing of something to get your life that way. And then you tell two friends and so on and so on. It's like a Fabergé organic shampoo commercial. We get people creating the world they want to live in. And if the world seems too overwhelming, too much, we start with your freaking kitchen. The same principles of changing the way you think and feel in your kitchen, as you use them, you'll say, oh, I can do this outside of my house. If you choose to. Okay? So, I am here for you. Yeah. There, you see, Allure Interiors, that's why it's a secret convo between the Gen Xers, because all of a sudden it's like, wait, I know a song that has that lyric in it. It's totally how I'm wired. Yeah. So, what I want to offer to you too is I would love to stay here a little. I could stay here all day helping you guys, but it wouldn't do you a lot of good and it wouldn't do me a lot of good because we need to get up. We need to go to the bathroom. We need to figure out what the heck's going on today. I will be here tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. What time? I don't even know off the top of my head because I have it written down on a schedule. If you want to know when to tune into this TV show, this is why in a Gen X way, I call the page on my website that can only be seen by people who share their email addresses with me at destinationdecluttered.com. If you want to see the TV guide and know when I'm showing up, heck, am I showing up later today? Oops, wrong page. Here, let me do this. All right. Tuesday, TikTok, YouTube. Wednesday, TikTok, YouTube. Thursday, TikTok, YouTube. Friday, TikTok. And then I go traveling for a while. If you want to know those times, I'm happy to give it to you. But I want to make sure you're not a troll. So destinationdecluttered.com, there's a form at the bottom of my homepage. Just pop in your email address, share it with me, and then you get the link. Okay? Now Christine says, I have my mom's things. I want to conclude with this one. Okay? I have my mom's things holding space in my basement. And she's passed since 2006. So she's been away for nine years. Christine, the housekeeper, what I want to offer to you is, there we go. And Erin, you're so good. You're such a helper's helper. Keep joining us and ask Beth questions. And what I will share with you, everybody, Christine, they are no longer your mom's things. They are your things. Okay, just even think about this. They belong to you. You belong to me. They belong to you. They belong to you. They are your things now. And notice you have fears of, if you send it away, you don't know how to do it. I am here to help you find a way that you do know how, that calms down your nervous system and makes you feel good, or at least okay about the process, okay? Now, it's 10:02 a.m. Luckily, I don't have a coaching call right now, or else I'd be late, but I have to scoot, okay? This TikTok Live, as well as all my other ones, is uploaded to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. So if you still want to get more of this, you're like, I just got here and I like what's going on. There's 900 plus videos. There we go. Okay, Melissa, trying to recover. I love it. Yes, crazy retail this time of year. Oy vey. I used to work retail. I know all about it. Okay? We are a good group here. If you want help, I'm here for you. Follow me here on TikTok, but better yet, seriously, get the schedule so you know when to show up again for the next week or so. I'm here for you, all right? But I'm going to sign off so I can be here for me too. And I'm going to be doing more decluttering of stuff in that closet, so I'll have more stories. We'll have things you'll want to talk about. I will too. All right? See ya. From you, me, and Mr. Rogers.